Oh. Oh, hey there, guys. Oh, let me put that down. Hey, it's a little late at night, and I don't want to look directly in the flashlight, but I thought I'd start this video off with a little nighttime woods. It's not too cold outside, but pretty chilly, so let's bring you inside where it's warm, and I thought I'd take this video to tell you guys about my top 5 favorite snakes in New Jersey. So now that I'm home, let's start this top 5 video on my top 5 favorite snakes in New Jersey. Start this list off with number 5, the northern water snake. So now you may ask, why the northern water snake? Well, they're pretty cool overall. They only get up to 4.5 feet normally. Most individuals do not exceed that, and most individuals don't even get to that length. They're average about 3.5 feet long. They are often brown, buff, tan, gray colored, but they always have hints of orange, especially on their stomach where you can see a pattern of orange and white. They are also a very defensive snake. I think I've only had one instance where when I captured a water snake, it didn't bite me. Well, 2, but the other instance, it was eating a frog, so I'll give them a little leeway there. Found really around any body of water. They really like slower moving bodies of water like ponds, lakes, reservoirs, and vernal pools, but come summer, at late months when it's a little drier, you'll often find them in creeks because the vernal pools dry up and they gotta follow the amphibians. So, like I just said, they do eat amphibians, but they also do eat fish. So they eat a diet very based upon the water where they live, and they are incredibly good swimmers, and often you'll see them basking above water, so when you get near, they just dive right in. So now, the best time of year to find water snakes I found is spring and kind of fall. Usually spring, because fall here comes like that, but spring, it's starting to warm up, but it's not really warm, so the water still has a good chill to it. So you'll often see these snakes communally basking together before going into the water. Alright, so let's go to number 4, the pine snake. Now these guys are really cool snakes. They get about 48 to 66 inches, which is a pretty large snake. They are often white, yellow, or light grayish color overall with dark black or brown splotches or squares over the snake. And when you catch them, they are often a little defensive, but they quickly calm down. So now, where will you find this awesome looking snake? Well, as the name suggests, they really like the pine barrens of New Jersey and other pine forest in other states. So in New Jersey, they're found on the outer coastal plains, in dry pine forest. You'll often find them in areas with sandy soil and not too many shrub covers. But this snake is really cool because they can actually burrow underground. And that's why in areas where they are common and there is a large population, you might not see them. But now this species is mostly diurnal and it eats rodents and lizards. And they're active between April and October. And they often do dig, so during the day they'll be harder to find, especially during hot summer days. They'll most likely be in their burrows, but on a spring day or early summer morning or summer night, they'll often be out exploring and looking for food. Okay, so now let's go to number 3, the timber rattlesnake. Now, this is one of the 2 venomous species in New Jersey and the only venomous species on this list. And this rattlesnake gets up to 3 to 4.5 feet. They have 2 phases in New Jersey, the light phase and the dark phase. The light phase is often a lighter colored body with dark black splotches, or crossbands as they're called, while the dark phase is almost a totally black snake. But it still does have that patterning, but due to the fact that it's either black on black, brown on black, or brown on brown, it's pretty hard to tell the difference. But they are the largest venomous snake in New Jersey, which is pretty cool. And they have temperature pits, which allow them to hunt for their food because they can see the heat of the food they eat. And they also, being a rattlesnake, they do have that rattle, which they get a new band each shed. So that will tell you how many sheds the snake has had, but not over their lifetime. Because often the rattle will get too long and fall off, or just due to it getting caught on something, it might break. So now these species of rattlesnakes, they like rugged terrain, a lot of rocks, cliff edges, thick woods, and areas where people don't go that often because they are often killed by people on site, which is very sad. So they are often nocturnal, which so during the summer months you'll often see them crossing the road or being there. That's the most likely time to encounter a rattlesnake. But yeah, so you'll often, if you go road cruising, which I'll talk about in another How to Herp episode, that is a very easy way to find, not easy, but you're more likely to find a timber rattlesnake while road cruising. Okay, so now let's get on to number 2. And now you may be asking, what's cooler than a venomous snake? Well, how about a snake that eats venomous snakes and isn't venomous? The kingsnake, or more specifically, the eastern kingsnake. So when you hear the word king in a snake's name, that often implies that it eats other snakes, like the king cobra. That snake is a snake that eats other snakes. Same with the king snake. But king snakes aren't venomous, so you may be asking, how's a king snake going to take down a rattlesnake or a copperhead? Well, they are very strong constrictors, and they are very smart how they do it. So here's a quick clip of a king snake attacking a venomous snake. That's amazing. And now let's get in a little more detail about the kingsnake. They're often 3 to 7 feet long, so a pretty long snake. Well, they do have to be pretty big to eat their prey of other snakes. They are often black with white, yellow chain coloring on or design on their back. The chains will often be broken, though, by the black. So they inhabit pine forests, fields, farmlands, rocky areas, swamps, in New Jersey, and you'll often find them under tin sites, under logs, or under other debris. And as I said, they are a snake eater, and they do like venomous snakes more than non-venomous snakes. Not because of the venom, but because a venomous snake is often a chunkier snake and a short body, so they're easier to digest, and they have a lot more fat for that. And while king snakes are mostly diurnal, come the hot summer months, they are pretty nocturnal, and you'll often find them crossing the roads. On to number 1, my personal favorite snake, almost overall, the eastern hognose snake. And how could you not love these guys? So eastern hognose are a pretty small snake, or average around 46 inches, and they're called a hognose snake because they have an upturned pig-like nose. They are often vary in color a lot, from yellow, gray, brown, green, black, but they always have these black squares on their bodies, which is pretty obvious. So now, what's the coolest part is their acting, because these snakes are big drama queens. So first, most often when you encounter one, it'll either get away, but if you stop it, it'll puff up its neck, spread those neck out with air, and it'll try and make itself look like a cobra. Now, while cobras do not live anywhere near here, the idea of it puffing up and making itself look bigger makes it seem more dangerous to predators. But if that doesn't work, then it'll do the most dramatic thing possible: play dead. This snake will, no joke, flip over on its stomach, on its back, open its mouth, stick its tongue out, and just lay there. And if you flip it back over, it'll flip itself back over on its back. So if you try and flip this snake over on its stomach, it won't have any of that. It'll flip itself back over onto its back, open its mouth, and stick out its tongue. A big drama. Where to find hognose snakes? I actually haven't found one, but I've been really looking. They like wooded areas with sandy soil, farms, or coastal areas, and they are often diurnal, but you really only see them in the spring and fall in the cooler months, which is why they have Hodtober. But they love eating toads, so you often see them kind of close to a body of water or where toads are, and they are rear fang venomous and have a fang kind of in the back of their throat that they use to pop the toads to eat them. That's my list on my top 5 favorite snake species in New Jersey. If you like this video, please don't forget to hit the like button, to subscribe, and if you want to say anything, comment down in the comments below. And tell me what you guys think of this list, and if you have any things that you disagree with or agree with.